Hi and welcome back to my channel Coder Kid. In today's video I'll be showing you how to make this awesome treasure hunt app. Here's the code of the app and here's the design of the app. So we click on run, then it says ahoy, ready to hunt the treasure. All you have is a map and a few clues to get to the treasure. Click on let's hunt, click on X to get to the first clue, and then it has clue 1, water, water everywhere, and here's the clue. And if you click on the correct one, it leads you to the next clue, and the correct one again, and it leads you to the next clue. And then once you've done all the clues, you lead to this screen, well done, you found the treasure. But if you do any of the wrong answers, it'll lead you straight to this screen. You have to click on start over, and it leads you back to the welcome screen. So we will be making this app on applab. So let's first head over to this design and change the background color. I'm going to change this to an orange. Now I'm going to drag an image, some text, some more text, and a button. So first let's go to the image, click on choose, and I already downloaded these images from the internet, so you can also download them from the internet, or I'm sure code.org have some great icons you could use. Now we need to make sure the background color matches with whatever background color the image is. There we go, now it kind of blends in. So let's place the image wherever we want. Now let's do the button. Let's change the background color of the button to black and make sure the text color is white. The font size is 22 and the ID of this button is BTN Let's Hunt, or B underscore Let's Hunt. So now that we've done the button, let's do the first text. So this text should say ahoy with an exclamation mark. Now let's change the text color to black, font size to 30, and the font family, there's many different font families, like all of these that you can choose from. I'm going to go with an impact font family, and it might change the size of your text, so you might want to increase the font size. So after you've got that text in, here, like we have on this screen right here, we have all this text. So then let's click on the text. So we have to write, ready to hunt the treasure. All you have is a map and a few clues to find the treasure. So let's write that in, change the text color to black, and the font size, we can increase that also. I'm going to change the font family to a different one, maybe Korea. I've got the font size at 20 and the text alignment is center. And there we go, we have done our welcome screen. We need to make sure we got the text on the button as let's hunt. So we need to make sure the text does fit in that button. So now what we need to do is we can go ahead and name this screen. We need to name this screen a welcome screen. So let's go ahead and name it welcome screen. So after we've named this welcome screen, we need to click on new screen. So this time we will do the treasure screen. So let's change the background color again. We can go for a nice green, or an orangey colour. I'm going to go for this green. And now let's drag some text. So here we have some text, and then we need an image component. So let's go into the image, click on choose, and I already downloaded this treasure GIF from the internet. You can download it too. So let's get this to our chosen size. Now we need to change the text. So let's first change the text to well done with an exclamation mark. So it needs to say, well done, you found the treasure. So well done, exclamation mark, you found the treasure, exclamation mark. If you want, you can add some emojis as well. Or we've already got the treasure GIF, so you might not want to add emojis. So now let's change the text color of this to black. The font size, we can increase this to 30. And the font family, let's change it to a different font family. I'm going to change it to... I shall change the font family to Lucida Console. There are many different font families, so make sure to check all of them out, and you might find an even better one. So we need to change the width and the height also. So now we can change the text alignment to center, and we can just put the font size a bit down. Then so now we've done our treasure screen, we need to title the screen treasure. So click anywhere on the screen and let's change the ID of the screen to treasure. So now we're going to create the map screen. So click on new screen, and this time we're not going to do the background color, we're going to do the image as a background. So click on choose. I already downloaded this map image off the internet, you can too. And then we're going to need some text at the top, and then another image. If you can see this little X right here, so we can put it over here. Because that X is not very visible, we can put an image there. Click on choose, and I downloaded this red X. Make it as big as you want. So we need to change the ID of this to X underscore image. So now let's click on the text and change the text to click on the X to get to the first clue. So let's write all that in. So after you have written all that in, we need to change the text color. You can change it to whatever you want. You can change it to a bold red or a nice black. So now let's change the font size. I'm going to change the font size to as big as I can, but I need to make sure it fits in one line. So I've got the font size of 19. And the text alignment, we can change that as left. We can keep that as left or keep it as center. And now we need to change the screen ID to map. So now we're going to do the fail treasure screen, or the fail screen. So I'm going to name the screen fail. We can keep the background color as black or white, whatever you want. And then we can choose the background image to be a side pirate image. Or we can drag an image component and change it like that. I'm just going to leave it as the background because it saves time, because it just saves time. Now let's grab a button. You can keep it on the hat right here. We could cover the skeleton on his hat. Could cover it up, make sure it's fully covered. Change the background colour of the button to black. This way the button is disguised in his hat. So we need to increase the font size maybe to 25, or you can lower it down maybe to 23 if you wanted to. And then let's change the text of this to start over. And then the ID of this to B underscore start over. So now after you've done that, let's click on new screen, and this screen is going to be one of the clue screens. So we are doing clue 1 first. So just like the clue 1 screen, we need a label, a text area, and 2 buttons. You can make these as big or as small as you want. I'm going to make them a little bit bigger. So I'm going to have 125 as the width, or maybe 130 as the width, and the height as 50. So let's do the same to the other button because we want the button size to be the same. Now let's align them how we want. So now what we need to do is the text area. Let's make that a bit bigger and place it in the middle of the screen. Now we can have this text area quite big as we want to display all the text in a bigger font size. So now let's click on the first label. So this first label, if we go on the clue 1 screen, should say clue 1, water, water everywhere. So let's go ahead and write that in. And then we can change the font family and the font size and the text alignment to center. So after you have the desired look of your first text, now we need to do the text box. So it says, here is where you will find the beautiful aquatic animals and coral reefs. There awaits your next clue. So now let's write all that in. Then change the text colour. I'm going to change it to a brown. And the text colour, I'll actually change it to white. And the background colour, I'll change it to brown. And then let's change the font size and the text alignment. Make sure the design is how you want it before you move on. So now let's do the first button. This first button should have the name of underwater. So let's make the ID of this button to C1 underscore underwater. So it's clue 1 from the Clue 1 screen, underwater button. So we need to make sure the text is also underwater and the text colour is white, the background colour to a nice dark blue. We can change the font family. I'm going to change it to maybe comic. And the font size, we will need to increase that too. Now we need to change the border width to maybe 3 or 5. And the border colour to a nice black. And the border radius, you can also change that. I'm going to change it to 10. Okay, so now we need to do the second button. Instead of doing all that again, we could just duplicate the underwater button, place it next to it, change the background colour to a nice yellow, but make sure you can see the writing. Or instead, if the yellow is too bright, we could just change the text colour to black. And then the text of this to lighthouse. And then let's change the ID of this to C1_lighthouse. So now after we have done that, we need to change the background colour. We can change the background colour to a nice blue because it is about water. And make sure there are no giant gaps as well. So after you have finished designing the screen, you can go ahead and start on Clue 2. You need to make sure the ID of this is Clue 1. The ID of the screen shall be Clue 1. So now let's click here, right here on the second button, duplicate. So let's first go ahead and change the ID of the screen to Clue 2. The background colour, we can change this to whatever you want. I'm going to change it to a greenish yellow. Okay, so now let's change Clue 1 to Clue 2, and it needs to say guiding light. Guiding light. So now we can change the font size or font family however you want. So I'm going to put the font family to Arial and leave the font size. And then the text box, we need to have the text as: this is a tower with light to guide ships at sea. There awaits your next clue. So let's go ahead and write all that in the text box. We need to make sure we delete all the other text before we write it in. So now that we've done that, we need to change the buttons. So the first button, let's change the ID of that to C2 underscore forest. And the text to forest. And then the text color, we can change that to black. And the background color to green. And then the border width, we can increase that 1 if we wanted to, because there is less writing, and make sure to not leave any giant gaps. Okay, so now let's move on to the lighthouse button. So we need to change the ID of that to C2 underscore lighthouse. And the text to that is lighthouse, the text color to black, and the background color, we can give that a nice red, but let's make it a bit lighter, a lighter shred, so it's almost a pink. So now let's change so this screen is now finished. So now we need to move on to the Clue 3 screen. So let's go ahead and click on duplicate, the second button. Now let's first change the ID of the screen. So the ID of the screen should be Clue 3. Now let's change this top text box, the top text. So that needs to say Clue 3. Oh so hot, hot so. Oh so hot, oh so hot. Or it can be too hot or so hot. And we can change the font family to whatever we want. There is lots and lots of choices that you can have for the font family. And the text box needs to say, this is the last clue. This place is very hot and erupts lava. This is where you may find the treasure. All the best. So now we need to delete all this text from the text box and replace it with the new text. Okay, so now after we've done that, we need to click on the first button, forest. Let's change the ID of that button to C3 underscore volcano. And the text of that button, we need to change it to volcano. And then the second button, let's change the ID of that button to C3 underscore desert. And the text of that button needs to be desert. So we can increase the font size of that. So now we finished designing that screen. So let's have a look. We have Clue 1 screen, Clue 2 screen, Clue 3 screen. You could also change the background color if you wanted to. So let's have a nice background color for that. Let's change the background color. And with the volcano button, we can also change that background color to red. And the desert, we can change that button to orange. And then we can see we have the fail screen, the map screen, the treasure screen, and the welcome screen. So now we can start coding. So the first coding that we need to do is for the welcome screen. So let's drag the on event block, and here the button let's hunt is b_let's hunt. So we're on event b_let's hunt, click. We need that button should then take us to the map screen. So let's drag the set screen block, set screen, map screen. So now when we click on image X or the X_image, we need to set the screen to the clue 1 screen. So when we're at the clue 1 screen right here, if we click on the underwater button, that is the correct answer, so it should lead us to the next screen, which is clue 2. So this is clue 1, C1_water, set screen, clue 2. So then if we can copy and paste that block. So but then if we click on C1_lighthouse, if we click on the lighthouse button, then that is the wrong answer, so it should lead us to the fail screen. So now let's copy and paste these two blocks twice. Okay, so the first two, it needs to be C2_lighthouse and C2_forest. So let's go into the screen. So the lighthouse is the correct answer, so that should lead us to clue 3 screen. But if we click on the forest, that is the wrong answer, so it should lead us to the fail screen. So now the third set that we copied and pasted. So if we click on C3_volcano, that should lead us to the treasure screen because we have done all the things. We have figured out all the clues and we've gone on to the correct one. But if we click on C3_desert, that's the wrong answer, so we need to go to the fail screen. So let's click on run, and here we have our welcome screen. We click on let's hunt, we go to the map screen, we click on X, we go to clue 1, we click on all the right answers, then it leads us to the treasure. But if we click on the wrong answers, then it leads us to the start over screen. And then let's go to the fail screen. And then if we click on the start over button, so b_start over, then we need to set screen. We can go to the welcome screen or we can go straight to clue 1. I'm going to go back to the welcome screen. So then if we click on the wrong one, we go on start over. So we can also rename the app to Treasure Hunt. I will leave a link to this app in the description box below. And then we can click on share to copy the link, which I will put in the description. And we can publish this on the code.org public gallery too. So that's it for today's video. Please subscribe, like and share. And before you go, make sure to post in the comments on all the videos that you watch. What app would you like me to make next? A car race app or another app? Which app would you like me to make? That's it for today's video. Bye.